Hey everyone, I was starting making a bit of an over-the-top video about my studio setup, and I might still put it out. It got a little ahead of me, so just figured I'd go over a basic rundown of what I've got going on here. I was doing a cover of a song from Donkey Kong Country 1, and basically just really simple setup. Drum track drums, co-work vocal bass for most of the synthy parts, and then a guitar lead over it. I plugged the guitar amp in, and then I just started playing the same Van Halen song over and over again, and so that kind of time got away from me as it usually does. But a few things. Let's see. So the basic setup is as follows. I set the drum machine up here, right? This is an interface and a mixing board for if I'm doing DAW stuff, which I'm not. So I just set on top of that. I plug my direct inputs or direct outputs of the bass, the snare, the hi hat, the hand clap, a couple others into my patch bay. My patch bay's got line ins for my mixing board, and so this is where you'd plug your quarter-inch jacks for any kind of line level signals. So I plug those in, and what that does is it route the signal through the preamp, and then each of these two bottom patch bays basically send the signal from the board out to my ADAT tape decks, and then back out from my ADAT tape decks back into the board. And so right after the preamp, right before anything else, the tape decks record the signal. And so I laid down drums, got them as loud as I could on the tape, so I had as much dynamic range to play with if I wanted it later on. And then I did that and bass at the same time. I say bass, synth is probably a more accurate term. And I just had a headphone out to RCA into another one of these channels, and so recorded that onto the ADATs. ADATs are both down here. Um, these two decks here are running 8 tracks each. They've got they're running on VHS tape, and so I'm running a 16-track unit right now. I've got like 4 other ADATs that I'm working on fixing up and getting studio worthy, but I'm working on 16 channels right now. And so those, when played back, get routed back through the board, and I can EQ them there. I can send them out to aux sends, mute them, pan them, level them, etc. And so for this, for the work I'm working on right now, I've got bass, snare, hi hat, hand clap. I think this one is technically rim shot. No, hand clap and rim shot are the same. I might have another. No, okay, yeah, these are my 4 drum tracks, and then all the way over here, track 9 is the synth. No, no, track 9 is still drums. Track 11 is the synth. Track 12 is the guitar, and so what I've got going on up here is I've got the signal coming out for the bass and the snare drums, right? Coming out to this top patch bay. They're going into a parametric EQ, right? Coming out from the parametric EQ back into a 3630 Alesis compressor, and then back out of the compressor into the channel insert. And so coming straight from the tape, they're going through an EQ and a compressor, and then back to the board. And so those are being affected over here. 2 parametric EQs, a compressor. It's just a headphone amp. It's irrelevant. And then on my aux 1 send, right? We got this cable coming down to this Zoom guitar effects unit, which is just doing a basic reverb for me, a Spring or a Hall reverb, one of the two, and sending that back out to channel 25 on my board, which is one that's not affected by tape deck routing at all, so it's easy just to throw it into the line in, and it comes right down onto the board. And so I've got my reverb here, and this is anything that gets aux 1 sent out, and I got my 4 basic drums here, and guitar and bass here. Of course, it's spread out way more than it needs to be. I thought it would use more tracks than this, I didn't. Oops. And so this guy here, this is what they call the BRC, the big remote control. And this basically lets me control my ADATs from up top, so I don't have to get down and mess with them on the side of the desk. It also keeps them all synced together, and so basically I hit a locate button, and it will bring me to a given point in the tape, which right now is 1170 bars. It's 2 beats in. This is irrelevant data. It could be used if you set up a time map. I didn't on this one, and so if I press play, that'll get both tapes started, both tapes moving, and the tape is coming out of the decks, in through my patch bay, the bass and snare are going out through the compressor, and then hi-hat, hand clap, rim shot, synth, guitar are all coming straight back into the board. And so the guitar's a little noisy. The mix overall is a bit loud. You can see the bass and snare going through their EQ sections and their compressor sections. I'm just gonna fade out, starting about there, because that song just loops, I think, from there. But yeah, it's a bit of a mess right now. Just been kind of messing with this all day. I spent a lot of time working on my drum machine today, and so, but I figure that's kind of, a good idea of what this setup operates like. Of course, if you're doing if I was doing like a full band, right, I'd have way more elaborate drums and more instrumentation. You run out of 16 tracks really quickly, but yeah, it's just a little studio demo of how this rig is set up and how it operates. And so, aside from the occasional tape failure, because VCRs are awful, I actually really enjoy not having a DAW. I enjoy just tape straight into board, and that's it. You don't have to worry about latency or anything along those lines you would with a DAW or booting up. I can get this set up, booted up and running within 20 seconds, and so I don't know. I just figured I would do like a demonstration of what this unit is like and how far it's come in some kind of functionality. And so I guess thanks for watching. I think as I start evolving this system and start doing more and getting more recordings done, I might do more videos of me mixing and mastering. I'm not a genius. I'm not good at this. I just like buying things and playing with them. And so, yeah, thanks for watching. I guess I'll see you guys next time.